Not intimidated, Tucker fires back at Podesta for legal threat against Fox News. During the Monday broadcast of his Fox News program, Tucker Carlson responded to a snarling legal threat from a lawyer from Tony Podesta, noting that "we're not intimidated." The threat was made in the aftermath of Carlson's report that suggested Tony Podesta, his brother John Podesta, and former Trump campaign manager Paul Manafort were the, quote, central figures in special counsel Robert Mueller's federal investigation. When opening the segment addressing the threat, Carlson said that the story has turned Washington upside down and caused more intrigue than anything I've seen in this city in 25 years. Tony Podesta is the brother of former Hillary Clinton campaign chairman John Podesta and founder of the Podesta Group, a Washington, D.C. lobbying firm that describes itself as a top-ranked bipartisan team of global public affairs specialists who know how to change outcomes. After becoming a subject in Mueller's investigation, Tony Podesta resigned from the group, which was one of several firms that worked on a campaign called the European Center for a Modern Ukraine. Manafort led the campaign, which was aimed at promoting Ukraine's image in the West. However, Manafort was indicted on Monday on several charges that dated back to his work in the Ukraine. Today's indictment confirms our reporting on this, Carlson said, adding that it shows that the Podesta Group was aware that the European Center for a Modern Ukraine was a sham company led by Manafort that represented pro-Russian interests. Although the Podesta Group had knowledge that they were operating as agents of a foreign government, the firm did not register as such until the spring of 2017, only weeks after reports emerged that Manafort's offshore bank accounts were being investigated, Carlson noted. Podesta did not attribute his resignation to the Manafort indictments, but blamed Fox News instead. Tony Podesta resigned as head of his company, Carlson said. His excuse? Us? That's right. He blamed us, Carlson stated. In his parting statement, Podesta said this: "It is impossible to run a public affairs firm while you're under attack by Fox News and the right-wing media," the Fox News host said. On Monday, Carlson received a letter from Geoff Garinther, a lawyer with Venable LLP, a major law firm in Washington, D.C.
Here's what Republicans and
Sorry about that,
Democrats who
folks.
understand the job of Supreme Court Justice are saying about Judge Christie Acker.
But maybe we're being too literal about this, probably so. Podesta's lawyer wasn't trying to inform us of anything, but to threaten us, to shut down our reporting on his client. One lawyer we talked to earlier today said the Podesta people have used this tactic with others before. It's common. It's an effort to use fear to control press coverage. We're not intimidated. We have ample evidence from Mueller's indictment and from a number of confidential sources to paint a pretty clear picture of exactly what the Podesta Group was doing for years here in Washington. We'll let the facts speak for themselves. And we're confident the Mueller investigation will be revealing a lot more about Tony Podesta's lobbying practices in the near future. In the meantime, if you're looking for a summary of all of this, here's the one-sentence cliff note to the whole affair. The chairman of one major presidential campaign colluded with the brother of the chairman of the other major presidential campaign to enrich themselves by secretly advancing the interests of a foreign adversary. That happened. That's the swamp they told you needed to be drained.
Carlson claimed the letter demands the media immediately cease and desist disseminating false and misleading reports about Mr. Podesta and the Podesta Group. Tony Podesta threatened Tucker Carlson tonight after resigning, wanted our reporting shut down, #Tucker at Fox News. It demands we retract and delete all our prior reporting on the Podesta Group and warns that if we don't do this, Mr. Podesta may pursue legal action, including for damages, in order to fully protect his rights, he said. According to Carlson, Garanther's letter claims that Manafort did not work with the Podesta Group in its representation of the European Center for a Modern Ukraine. Apparently, that lawyer hasn't read the Manafort indictment yet, Carlson said. Carlson also contended that the letter was a fear, quote, tactic. It's an effort to use fear to control press coverage, Carlson said. We're not intimidated. We have ample evidence from Mueller's indictment from a number of confidential sources to paint a pretty clear picture of exactly what the Podesta Group was doing for years here in Washington, and Mueller's investigation of Tony Podesta makes Carlson hopeful that Podesta might be ensnared in his own trap. If you're looking for a summary of all of this, here's the one-sentence cliff note to the whole affair. The chairman of one major presidential campaign colluded with the brother of the chairman of the other major presidential campaign to enrich themselves, Carlson stated, adding that they both took action to secretly advance the interests of a foreign adversary. That happened. That's the swamp they told you needed to be drained. Good for him. Fight back. Absolutely. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And again, thank you so much for watching.